Bar graph is described in four paragraphs: introduction, overview, body 1, and body 2. Let's see the question and I will teach you how to describe one by one. Look at the question. For writing introduction, read the topic carefully. Our introduction looks like this. The bar graph illustrates the relative percentage contributions made by the agricultural, industrial, and service sectors to the Indian economy between 1960 and 2000. How I wrote introduction. In place of bar chart, I wrote bar graph. In place of shows, I wrote illustrates. I replaced sector contributions to with relative percentage contributions made by the agricultural, industrial, and service sectors too. Number 4. India's gross domestic product equals to Indian economy, and I replaced from 1960 to 2000 with between 1960 and 2000. We have completed writing introduction. Now let us see how to write overview. Never include data or numbers. See the highest and lowest data. Notice increasing and decreasing trends. Here are different phrases which will help you to describe increasing and decreasing trends. Here are different verbs to describe increase, decrease, as well as adverbs to describe how, as well as which will describe stable. Please have a look and read it by your own. Phrases to start overview. Number 1, you can write in summary or to summarize or insert to sum up overall, as well as looking from an overall perspective. As I already said, while writing overview, we have to look the increasing, decreasing, and stable trends. Here, look at the figure. There we can see three different sectors: agriculture, industry, and services, in which agriculture is represented with brown color, industry is represented with light brown color, and services is represented with very light brown color. Now we can see agriculture has decreased from the year 1960 to 2000. Similarly, we can also see services has increased from the year 1960 to 2000. Similarly, when we look deeply, we can see that from the year 1980 to 2000, industry sector remained stable. Including these all figures, we write the overview, and our overview looks like this. Over the whole time period, the significance of agriculture declined steadily while services grew in importance decade by decade. A different pattern emerged for industry, which initially showed a slowly increasing percentage but then plateaued from 1980 onwards. How I wrote overview. As a starting phrase, I used over the whole time period. You can also use other starting phrases like overall, to sum up, in short. I noticed the main features. First, increasing trend. Services grew in importance decade by decade. Other phrases to describe decreasing trends. The contribution of services increased dramatically. The significance of services rose gradually. Let's see another main features of decreasing trend. We can see the significance of agriculture declined steadily. You can also use other phrases to describe these decreasing trends like the importance of agriculture sector dropped steadily. The significance of agriculture sector followed downward trend. Let's see another one main features, that is remained stable. A different pattern emerged for industry, which initially showed a slowly increasing percentage but then plateaued from 1980 onwards. Other phrases to describe stable industry showed different trend. It increased slightly at the beginning but then remained stable. Number V. Industry rose up slowly at first but then remained constant. Well, we learned how to write overview. Now let's see how to write body 1. Number 1. Describe increasing and decreasing data by using numbers or percentage. Number 2. Use linking words like on the other hand, likewise, similarly, furthermore, and however. Our body 1 looks like this. In 1960, agriculture played a major role in India's GDP. However, its contribution to India's GDP decreased steadily up to its lowest 13% in 2000. On the other hand, the service sector had a less significant part in GDP's contribution of 17%, but its share in GDP rose gradually with 25% to 45% between 1970 and 1980 to 63% in 2000 and became the major part of India's GDP. We have completed writing body 1. Now let's see how to write body 2. Use numbers and data to describe stable figures. Our body 2 looks like this. With regard to the industrial sector, the pattern is quite different from two other sectors. Its contribution slightly increased between 1960 and 1980 from 17% to 25% and attained a period of stability from 1980 to 2000. Let's see how I wrote body 2. Number 1. I used linking words like with regard to the. Number 2. I used phrases to describe stable like a period of stability.